Hello, fantasy enthusiasts. Welcome to another episode of Fantology. Today is a special episode as we bring you fantasy news from the month of March and some of February as well. So starting with TV show news, we have Stranger Things, The Witcher, and Wheel of Time TV shows. We have a couple movie items. And then into books, there's a new Poppy War book. Jim Butcher just announced 2 new Dresden Files books that we're very excited for. And finally, The Thorn of Emberlane. And I have Josh and Ryan on the line with me. This is Steven, as always. What's up, guys?
Steven, it's nice to be with you.
It's good to be back.
Josh sounds more enthusiastic than Ryan.
It's great to be back, guys.
There it is.
I love Fantology, and you should too.
And on that note, if you like the content that Fantology is putting out, check us out on social media at Fantology Books. We have a Patreon account up now with some exciting exclusives that you can unlock, so check that out. And we also have a website, www.fantologybooks.com. Everything you'd ever want about the podcast is there on the website, so check that out. Okay, so with that, we will jump into fantasy news. We previously covered about half of February, so we're going to start in February. I think you can kind of guess what the focus of most of the March news is going to be, unfortunately. But we do start off February with some exciting news, and that was the Stranger Things 4 promo trailer released on Valentine's Day.
Spoiler.
There's a little bit of controversy surrounding this trailer drop because it had a pretty big spoiler for season 3. So if you do not want to hear that spoiler, then you might want to skip ahead a few minutes.
But I imagine, honestly, most people have probably already seen it if they are fans of the show. So what was your guys' take on the trailer?
I love the music. It was like the Soviet Russia chanting song in the background. I don't know. It just made me feel like a communist.
A little bit of background on Ryan. He's a big fan of Russia for some reason. He loves Russian fail videos. So if you ever spend any time with Ryan, he's probably going to throw up a YouTube fail video in Russia.
It's the We Love Russia videos. It's just, they just capture the heart and soul of Russia so well. Even though I've never been there, I know what it feels like to be Russian.
So you really connected with that aspect of the trailer. Josh, what did you like about it?
Yeah, say one thing about Stranger Things. Say that it knows how to set a tone. You know, anytime they release a trailer, I mean, this wasn't even a full trailer, right? This was just a little promo, a little teaser, if you will. And it just, the minute that anything Stranger Things comes on screen, it has a very distinct tone. Whether that was like the 4th of July stuff that season 3 was going for, or the Halloween stuff that season 2 was going for. I mean, it just immediately kind of grabs you and chucks you into the world that they're setting up and the tone that they're setting for whatever it's on screen. And so I thought that this did an excellent job. It filmed in on these workers going down the line, and then you pan up to one of the specific workers, and shocker, but it is...
Spoiler, it's Hopper. Sheriff Hopper is still alive.
Yep.
Who would have guessed it? His body wasn't there. Honestly, anytime in a book or a TV show, if someone dies and the body's not there, man, you watch for them coming back.
And they're working on a railroad. We don't know the significance of this railroad, but that's what the workers are working on.
Right. And presumably, if you don't remember how season 3 ended, it ended with them closing the portal, right? And the only way to get it closed before everything rushed in was for Hopper to go and flip the switch himself or something, right? Or they were flipping the switch and he was still in the room and couldn't get out. And then there's a big explosion type thing, and then Hopper wasn't there anymore.
Right. He makes the dramatic, noble sacrifice. I would guess, Ryan, that the significance of the railroad is just they are expanding their operation. The Russians are, with the portal. So they are, whatever power they're trying to harness this power, and they're going for it. And I think it'll be exciting because I'm guessing the setting might shift to Russia, right? We're finally going to leave Hawkins, and maybe the kids are trooping through Russia trying to stop the Russians. I mean, conflict escalation.
How are they going to get the kids to Russia?
Well, they're going to go through the portal, right?
Yeah, because that's been the theory since season 1, right? Is that Russia was trying to build a portal like into the heartland of the United States to launch an invasion or whatever. That's like a popular fan theory, I know.
Oh.
So if season 3 wasn't Red Donnie enough for you, just wait for season 4, I guess.
Yeah, apparently.
Or maybe they think they've already done that, and so they're going to switch it up. I kind of think they're going to be in Russia, fighting the Russians.
You think so?
So it's the opposite of Red Dawn. We're taking the fight to them.
Yeah, I guess that doesn't really make sense. Why are we going to Russia to fight them?
I don't know. Maybe they find out that Hopper's in Russia and they're like, we're going to go get him back. And I don't know, 11 goes through because she's going to get her dad back. And then, Will and the gang isn't going to let her do that without following along. So,
do you guys think we've seen the best of Stranger Things already? The first 3 seasons, for me, continued to get better and better. And I kind of wonder if it's peaked because it seems like they've wrapped the original Hawkins storyline, and now they're looking to expand. And it sometimes seems to me that in shows, when they do this and try to leave the magic of what made the show so special, I don't know, it sometimes can go a little sideways.
I agree. I think that for me, I think season 1 was the best. Season 2 and season 3 were very good, but not quite as good as season 1. And I kind of agree, as they get away from the original plot line, characters, setting, in Hawkins, Indiana, I think the quality will decrease a little bit.
Yeah, so for some reason I thought that there was a more definitive answer to this, but according to Tech Radar, it says in an interview with Vulture, Ross Duffer, who's obviously one of the Duffer brothers, hinted that the series would be a 4-season thing and then out. However, series producer Sean Levi clarified that the truth is we're definitely going 4 seasons, and there's very much the possibility of a 5th. So this was as of March 16th. So there might be new information that I'm not aware of. But so it sounds like the Duffer brothers, who are the original creative minds behind Stranger Things, as far as I understand it, had 4 seasons planned out. But I don't know. It sounds like the popularity of it, they might be getting pressure to make more.
Yeah, this is Netflix's cash cow, right? So hopefully they're not pressuring them to make seasons that they weren't originally planning on. I mean, if they can pull it off, great. But if they're creating some extraneous material and calling it a new season, that would be disappointing.
I wonder, so you said that was from March 16th, so that's a pretty recent quote. I wonder if we could find any quotes back all the way in like season 1, if they had any.
I heard after season 3 that they were maybe doing 5 or 6. And I thought that was a quote from the bros, from the Duffer bros. But I don't know.
It might be, this is something we can talk more about on Discord. If you have more information about it or want us to talk more about, jump on there and we can chat about it.
Yeah. Okay. So probably enough Stranger Things chat there. Let's talk The Witcher TV show. There have been a few things announced. One was there were some rumors that Mark Hamill was going to be cast as Vesemir, and that was false because they announced the cast, I think, in early March. So a couple weeks after that rumor was swirling around. And honestly, these are a lot of no names, a lot of foreign European names to me. The only name that we do know is a fan favorite from Game of Thrones, right?
Tormund.
Yeah, Tormund Giantsbane. So he is going to be this character called Nivellen, if I'm saying his name right. And this is a character that appears in The Last Wish during a short story that is kind of analogous to the Beauty and the Beast story. And that's all I'll say because I don't want to spoil a show that hasn't come out yet.
Well, haven't they already done The Last Wish on The Witcher?
They've done some of the short stories, but not all of them.
Oh, so this isn't... there was a specific short story called The Last Wish, which is when the whole genie thing happens, right? And they did that in season 1.
Right. So to clear up your confusion there, The Last Wish is the name of a book of short stories.
Right, okay.
And it actually refers to a specific story in there called The Last Wish, which is the story with the djinn, which is when Geralt and Yennefer first get together. One of my faves. But there are some short stories from the book that have not yet been told. And it sounds like we're going there some in season 2 of The Witcher. And that kind of gives us some idea of the direction of the series. If they're not going directly into the storyline of the Blood of Elves, they might still kind of be messing around with some of the short stories. And I'm a little confused as to where the series is going. I've mentioned this in our Witcher podcast before. Right, Ryan?
You did.
So, Stephen, how many seasons do you think that the main storyline of The Witcher, outside of the short stories, how many seasons do you think that could support?
How many do I think it could support or should support?
Okay, on one end, you have season 8 of Game of Thrones, which, Rush probably would have been 3 seasons into 8 episodes. On the other end, you have, I don't know, something like Big Bang Theory that just like lasts on and on and on.
I want to hear what you think it should support.
Yeah. What if you were writing it, how many seasons would you go for?
Okay, so season 1 is over, obviously, and that covered most of the first book of short stories. They could do another season of short stories, and then I think they could do 3 seasons of the main storyline. So I'm going to say 5 is how many they should do. If they wanted to, they could do a season per book, but I think that would be overkill because honestly, a lot of the books are a little boring. They're just traveling around. I think 3 seasons for the 5 books would be good. So 5 total seasons.
Well, I enjoyed season 1, so I'm there for it as long as it doesn't get overly boring, which I don't think they will let it.
Yeah, I think they could continue to make it exciting. I would hope to see an improvement on some of the CGI, and I hope they continue to do cool fight scenes. There was that scene in episode 1 with Geralt that was awesome. And then the rest of the season was kind of just like hit sword, stab the guy. It wasn't quite as good. But I hope maybe they do add in some cool special effects, add in some more cool choreography on the fighting. That would make it worth watching.
I think we talked about this last time, but they've lost their fight coordinator from season 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why'd they lose him? Did he lose a fight or something?
Hopefully he didn't resign over some kind of dispute that spells doom to the series.
I mean, it sounds like for you, Steven, you didn't keep watching it because of the fighting.
You kept watching it for Yennefer.
I mean, let's be honest. No, I liked the season, most of the season, almost all the way through. There were a few low parts, but I think if the fighting was good, it would entice more viewers to continue to watch it.
Okay, so as noted, Furtick, I believe that's how you say his name, choreographed all fight scenes in the first season except one, the highly acclaimed Blaviken fight. It was choreographed by Wolfgang Stegmann, who was brought on the project by Henry Cavill himself for reshoots, as the two have worked on Mission Impossible.
Oh, so Wolfgang is our Mission Impossible specialist, and he did the fight scene in the first episode.
That's what it looks like. And I don't know if he's coming back for season 2 because Mission Impossible 7 is planned to start filming.
So it sounds like we can't really look forward to more really beautifully choreographed fight scenes like that.
We'll see. I'm sure there's plenty of industry people that, would do an excellent job with it.
Let's get the Daredevil guy, maybe. Is he available?
Hopefully.
I don't know, but he's more choreographing like fist fighting, right? Daredevil fights with his hands and maybe nunchucks, but we need a sword fighter expert.
Yeah, but Daredevil also had some of the coolest one-shot scenes, like that scene in the hallway or the scene in the prison. So yeah, they're with fists mostly, but I think you could adapt that. Like take a sword expert, and take a cinematography expert and combine them. I know nothing about the film industry, so this is probably ridiculous, but it seems like that could work.
I don't know. I just think sword fighting is a lot different from fighting with your fists. Not that I have any experience with either.
But how much, The Witcher, they had that one really involved sword fighting scene, but I feel like Witcher is a combination of sword fighting plus just like potions and creative.
So you're saying they should have an alchemist on set?
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent idea. After the alchemist finishes with the Witcher shooting, tell him to come over here. I'd like him to brew me some potions.
What potions were you thinking? Most of the potions that the Witcher drinks would kill a normal person.
Come on, Steven.
Ooh, okay, I think we both revealed our noobism there, because obviously I'm not a Witcher, and Josh obviously doesn't realize that, of course, Geralt's fighting with his swords. That's what he's known for. He's got his 2 swords. One is his main sword that maybe has a name that I don't remember. The other one is the silver sword that he uses to fight demons and monsters.
Fair enough. Okay,
so anyway, moving off Witcher to another fantasy TV series that is near and dear to our heart. Wheel of Time has some news over the past month and a half. So they tweeted out kind of a cool, they've been tweeting out things every now and then. Rafe just went on Instagram and answered a bunch of fans' questions, so that was fun. But they tweeted out this cool picture of, it looks like what could be Emond's Field. It just kind of sets the scene. It looks very authentic. So we've continued to be very excited about the quality that we expect from the show, right?
Yeah. Well, should we go through and read some of those quotes from Rafe? So I think that those are all pretty newsworthy, right?
Yeah. Let's. That's some more recent stuff. That was just last week. So this is kind of the elephant in the room, but coronavirus has obviously struck, and I think pretty much every show you can think of has been put on hiatus as far as filming goes. But Rafe did tell us that they are continuing to work on the post-production for some of the episodes, so hopefully it's not too much of a delay. It sounded like they have finished shooting for 6 episodes, and there are 2 more that still need to be shot, or a few more scenes in those 2, but they're at least doing post-production on the 6, right?
That's from what I understand, yeah. And hopefully this doesn't delay it too far. I mean, they're doing the responsible thing, right? Like, they're doing the right thing, but it's hard to watch as fans.
We did just learn that Tormund, also his actual name is Christopher Hivju. I don't know how to pronounce it. That's my best shot. But he was recently diagnosed with COVID-19. I wonder if it's related. Maybe he got it on set.
My question is, was Christopher recently diagnosed with coronavirus, or was coronavirus diagnosed with Tormund? Am I right? I mean, come on, if there's one guy that can withstand coronavirus, it's Tormund Giantsbane.
Yeah, Brienne could let us know a little bit about Tormund's persistence, I'm sure.
I really hope that this does not age very badly. That's all I have to say.
No. I'm not worried about this at all.
I don't know. Remember that quote, Stephen, where you literally said you would give us all $1 million or some large sum of money if coronavirus affected our lives in any meaningful way?
I said if anyone that I know personally got it. And
no. You said
that is not what you said.
This is like a Trump press briefing.
Okay. I might have made 2 bets. One bet was in person to family and friends, where I said anyone I know personally. The other one, I might have minced words and said, affected our lives, whatever. You know what I meant. Anyway, it still stands, but honestly, at this rate, it's probably unfortunately not going to stand, because it seems like a lot of people are more and more arguing it is getting more and more serious. And
in defense of Stephen, this was back in January, where I think that there wasn't even a confirmed case in the United States yet. So this wasn't like last week or anything.
Please defend me, because obviously coronavirus is very serious, and we are, as Fantology, doing our best to social distance and all those good things.
TLDR, it does affect our lives, and you owe us a large sum of money.
So let's go over some more of these quotes from Rafe. One of the questions that I think got a lot of people, included us, excited about was, so this was again off his Instagram. It says, "What words of hope would you offer a fan afraid that the show will cut out a lot of content?" And Rafe answered, "I genuinely think we're cutting less than most people think. When I see people ask questions like, 'Are you cutting men?' it blows my mind. I don't know how you could do an adaptation without some of these characters. I think it'll be more of the smaller stories you'll miss. We can't have Rand and May travel to many ends on their travels across the countryside, for instance. It's just not producible. So that will be more of what you miss, I think. And the books always exist to read for that."
When you said May, did you mean Matt? Was that a Rafe typo, perhaps?
I think it was a Rafe typo, yeah. I assume that's Matt.
Yeah, that would make sense based off of what I know of the book series.
Yeah, no, I when I read that, I was like, that doesn't make sense, but didn't want to correct myself on the fly.
Yeah, so he says that, although he does say to a specific question of are Min/Elaine in season 1, he says TWWATWW, which of course means the wheel weaves as the wheel wills. So he does not confirm if they will appear, and we haven't seen them cast yet.
Well, right. He hasn't confirmed that they're going to appear, but it doesn't look like they're going to be combining the characters and messing with the story in that way, right?
Yeah. However, how could they not appear? I mean, if the first season is the first 2 books, which all indications seem to indicate it is, how could Min and Elaine not be there? I
mean, who knows? They might wait to introduce Min a little bit. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't want to give too much away, but it doesn't look like they're combining the characters, whether they wait to introduce a character or mess with the story in a little bit of way where we get events in a little bit different order. I don't know, but
all I'm going to say is I will be very surprised if they keep the Rand with 3 girlfriend storyline the way it is, just because I don't think that will age very well in modern TV.
Yeah, it's honestly the one thing that was always a little weird to me as a young reader about the series. I don't know. I don't think I can defend that one.
Okay, so let's quickly go through. I'm going to put us all on the spot because I haven't thought about my answer. But if we had to pick one of the women for Rand to end up with.
By the way, we should say that these are spoilers for the series.
So if we could pick one of these for Rand to end up with, who would you say, Stephen?
I say Avienda.
Okay, right.
That's what I was gonna say. Avienda. She's the most woman-like of them in the fact that she's an enigma and you can't understand her at all.
Nice. Does your wife listen to this, Ryan?
She doesn't listen to this. She'll probably listen to 10 minutes of it and then get bored.
So we're safely within or outside of the 10-minute mark.
Yes.
Okay, well, Sydney, if you're listening, then don't go too hard on Ryan.
It's a well-documented fact that men just don't understand the way that women work. As hard as we try, we don't get it.
I believe you, Ryan. I think that's a good point. I think you, Stephen, you know who I'm going to say. It'll take a lot of people off, but I am going to say Elaine. I know that she is not a fan favorite in many circles, but I think that they always just made a good match. And I think that I enjoyed Elaine and I enjoyed the palace intrigue that she always brought along with her. And so I'm saying Elaine.
Josh is just choosing the hot one.
Josh is going for the traditional fantasy trope of farm boy gets the princess.
You know what? Maybe, but okay, it bugged me. Spoilers, but it bugged me the way that Avienda and Rand, like their whole relationship developed and where they're just like now doing it on the like
in the igloo.
In the igloo.
You're talking about the Far Snows chapter?
Yeah, it was weird. It caught me off guard. Like there's no romance involved. It was just like they were two, teenagers that were lusting after each other and went to town.
Sounds like real life, Josh.
Well, that's fine, but then you don't have to freaking go 10 books later and now you're still like obsessed with each other because of that.
Okay, on that note, a couple other things from Rafe. Someone did explicitly ask him, will we see men? Or no, they said, blink twice if we'll see men. And he did 2 winky emojis. So I think that confirms it.
Of course. The emojis confirm it.
And then one other cool one was someone asked if we'll have to wait until season 2 to see any Aiel. And he says no. And the one you see will shock you. And then he says, Amazon shouldn't let me be on here when I've been cooped up for so long. So Rafe is revealing secrets. I like it.
So who do you think that shocker is, Stephen?
I mean, the obvious shocker would be Avienda, just because you don't see her until later on in the series.
Has she already been cast?
No, we don't know that. There are some Aiel in book 2. Ooh, we might need Jake on here to tell us who they are. But that's more brief. I don't know. What other Aiel would shock you?
This is embarrassing that I can't remember his name.
Oh, you're thinking of Ruark?
Yeah, Ruark. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a little bit of a shocker, but I think Avienda would be the biggest shocker if you saw her on screen.
Yeah, but Ruark, I could see them introducing that, like if they have, I mean, it doesn't sound like they're going like, who's the dragon? But if they had like Rand, Logain, and Ruark all kind of having story arcs starting the first season, that could be kind of cool.
I like it.
We really should have had our Wheel of Time expert on this podcast.
Hey, we did okay. I came up with the name Ruark. I mean, I'm impressed with myself there.
That's true.
I also got Far Snows, the chapter name. So who needs Jake?
You were very interested in that chapter, weren't you, Stephen?
Yeah, Stephen's read that chapter a lot.
Actually, a little bit of trivia. For some reason, when I first read that chapter, I skipped a page because sometimes you turn a page and the pages turn together. Anyway, I skipped the crucial page. So I was so confused what happened.
Stephen's like, this really faded to black. Like at one moment they were running from some creature, right?
Right. It didn't make any sense at all. And then it wasn't until my second read through and I was like, oh, that's what happened there.
All right. Let's see. One more question. Will Maine, Elaine, and Avienda have to be combined into a single character? We've referenced this answer before, but there's another little tidbit. It says, girl, you crazy. Sorry. I'm not going to combine huge characters like that. Maybe sometimes a minor character folded into a more major one to make better use of our cast, but nothing not so.
Nice. I love how transparent Rafe is. Man, I hope the show's good.
It should be. And then after that, this is all coming from our Discord. By the way, shameless plug for Discord. as this kind of news comes out, we have a Wheel of Time channel that we post on, and then somebody else posted the famous Drake meme of books about a lady and her dragons with Drake looking away, and then Drake like looking like he's accepting it, books about a dragon and his 3 ladies. So that's the kind of high quality content you're going to get shared with you if you're on our Discord.
Yeah, if you want some dank Wheel of Time memes, we got them. Okay, a couple of pieces of random movie news. Spider-Man 3 got a release date, and we got another trailer for Artemis Fowl. We just reviewed Artemis Fowl, the first book, and talked some about the movie. So 2 upcoming movies. Hard to say when we'll actually see any movies at this point, but those are 2 fantasy movies we're excited for in the future.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try and keep track of updated release dates. I did see today in kind of the MCU world, David Harbour, going back to Stranger Things too, said that he wanted them to release Black Widow straight to home or digital or whatever.
Was he in Black Widow?
Yeah, he is.
He's like the Russian Captain America.
Yeah.
So is he a good guy or bad guy?
I think good guy.
Seems like good, but who knows?
So he's Captain Russia, is what you're saying.
He's the Red Guardian, and his name is actually Alexei, which is very funny considering Stranger Things.
I would say he's more of like a Tsar Russia, not Captain Russia, Ryan.
Tsar, okay.
His name is the Red Guardian, though.
All right. Tsar Russia, Red Guardian, whatever. And I think that's it for recent TV film updates. We do have 2 pieces of exciting book updates. So first announced was we have book 3 of the Poppy War, The Burning God. Right, Josh? Is that the name?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is complete and does it have a release date later this year?
Yeah, it does. And it is November 17th, 2020.
Okay. So actually, November. So
Ooh.
We're going to see that in the same month as Rhythm of War.
Oh boy.
That's funny. Last November was also November 19 was a big month for fantasy book releases.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is from the Poppy War series by R.F. Kuang, and Josh has read the first 2. I'm about to start reading the second, but maybe I'll delay it a little bit so I can be more current. Anyway, this is a pretty popular series. I enjoyed the first one, although I'm a little conflicted, and I've heard the second one is really where it gets good.
I'm excited for this book to come out, and I think we'll keep covering it on the podcast.
Actually, I think I misspoke because you haven't read the second book either, right?
Yeah, I haven't read it because I read the first one when we were just getting news about the third one when it was going to come out, and so I wanted to give it a little bit more time until I read the second one as well.
And we'll have to convince Ryan to read as well because you have not yet picked up the series, right?
I have not, no.
Yeah, it's a good speculative fiction based heavily on Eastern history. So it's in a fictional kingdom, but it's not too hard to figure out which kingdoms represent China and Japan and European forces. So it's a pretty interesting series in that way. And there's a lot of interesting character and some pretty startling action and violence sequences.
What was the original language it was written in?
English.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not translated.
She's an American author, but I'm not sure which country, like descent.
Yeah, she's pretty young too. I think she's like young 20s college student.
Yeah. I was surprised. I watched that interview that Daniel Green had with her, and I think she wrote this in college. Anyway, but I think it was written very well. Like, I would not have guessed that it was a first-time author.
Definitely. So that is our news for Poppy War. Oh, and there's cover artwork for the book 3 cover. I always like seeing cover artwork comes out. It gets me excited for the book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pumped for the Rhythm of War artwork. Really looking forward to that getting released. Those covers are beautiful.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too.
Well, if you like artwork, how do you feel about full-on live-action trailers, Stephen?
Yeah, live action trailers are the latest thing to hit fantasy books. You can see one for the new Dresden Files book, Peace Talks. And this trailer is so beautifully corny and over the top in a way that symbolizes the entirety of the Dresden Files series is just awful and beautiful at the same time. And it's just totally Dresden Files. I loved it.
I thought it was excellent too. I mean, I kind of watched it on my phone at work, so I didn't get the full-on cinematic experience of this live-action trailer for Peace Talks, but I thought it was a ton of fun.
Are we going to start getting more live-action trailers for, is Rhythm of War going to have a live-action trailer? That would be awesome.
Well, at that point, I mean, why not just go go like Matrix style and put all of your budget into like making that trailer so that people just demand the movie.
Is that Matrix? That's a Matrix thing?
Oh yeah, they took I think the Wachowski brothers are now siblings, took the entire budget that the studio gave them and made like the first sequence in the Matrix, and then like burnt the entire budget on that. But it was so amazing that the studio just like pretty much greenlit whatever they wanted to do.
Wow, talk about betting on yourself.
Yeah, seriously.
But yes. Anyway, so Dresden Files, and the most exciting piece of Dresden Files we haven't even mentioned is that Jim Butcher announced not one but 2 books coming out this year. So we have the first book, Peace Talks, coming out in May, Josh?
Let's do a fact check on that. It looks like it's coming out July 14th. Ooh, yeah, even sooner than that. Or sorry, no, later than that.
Yeah, okay, I blew it there. Not May, so July 14th. And then the second book, yeah, that's right, a 2-book announcement in that trailer. The second book is called Battleground, and that comes out in November. I'm pretty confident on that.
Stephen, close but no cigar again with your Dresden Files. It actually comes out September 29th, 2020.
Okay, so I guess I just want these books even sooner. The live action trailer's got me so hyped that I need them now. But 2 books in one, come on, what a power move by Jim Butcher.
I know, it's so funny because I was just ragging on Jim Butcher in our last fantasy news episode, or in our Dresden Files book episode, I can't remember which, about how I got into the series and then, burnt through all, 14 of his books?
15 have come out so far, so these are 16 and 17.
Okay, yeah, 16 and 17. So I burnt through all like 15 of his books over the course of the summer, and then nothing from like 2015 until now, and then boom, 2 books. How exciting.
Yeah, I'm pumped. And I guess the action from Peace Talks just kind of rolls right over into Battleground. And so his publisher made him realize that he actually needed to make him 2 different books because it was just getting so big.
Yeah, and which it doesn't sound like the Peace Talks go too well if the next book is called Battleground.
And it sounds like the books are going to continue to get longer here because the first Dresden Files books are pretty quick, and then the tomes get a little beefier and beefier. And if he had to split this up into 2 books, it sounds like it may be a story limit, like he was coming up on 2 books or 1 book that was just way too long for 1.
Well, yeah, and his original pitch, right, was that it was going to be like a 20 to 25 book series with the last 3 books being a trilogy about like Armageddon, right?
Yeah, so it looks like we're starting to get there. If you haven't read the series, actually, wait, Ryan, have you read any Dresden Files?
I read the first book. I was actually on a road trip with Josh when we listened to it.
We were, huh?
Yeah, and it didn't captivate me.
So I've told this to other people who have said the same thing, is you have to read like 4 or 5 to really get into it. And then the plot kind of starts to build on itself, and the things you've seen in the first books start to become more exciting. And then every like 5 books, big things happen, big changes to the storyline happen. So they're somewhat episodic and fun, but he's also building out a bigger storyline that really pays off once you get into Peace Talks and Battleground, I'm assuming.
Yeah, if you want to get hyped for Dresden, go watch the first half of Daniel Green's video about changes, because he raves about it. And make sure you stop it before it gets in spoilers, and he gives good warnings, but because it gives some pretty major spoilers, but he hypes the series up a lot in that book.
And he had similar thoughts when he started reading and reviewing the books. He didn't care too much for the first few, and then only kept on reading because fans told him that it got better and he believed them, like we are saying. So if you do that, you will eventually say that we're right and it was worth it.
Yeah, I think so. It's a great series, in my opinion.
All right, we'll see if I can carve some time out for that. I have some fantasy news for you guys.
Okay.
Give us something to close on.
So you mentioned that Jim Butcher came out with the double whammy 2 books. Well, the fantasy news I have for you guys is there is still no release date for Doors of Stone by Patrick Rothfuss or Winds of Winter by George R.R. Martin.
Or Thorn of Emberlane by Scott Lynch.
I was hearing some rumors that was scheduled for maybe a late this year or next year release.
He submitted the manuscript, right?
Steven, I think you might be behind on this.
Oh, he did put out a manuscript picture, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I apologize, Scott. Let's focus back to Ryan's point. Pick it up again, Ryan.
Scott Lynch, he's come out with a book in the last decade, so even if he hadn't have really showed that he submitted the manuscript for Thorn of Emberlane. We haven't had any news from Patrick Rothfuss or George R.R. Martin.
At this point, do they have literally no excuse? We're talking 2 or 3 weeks thus far of the coronavirus quarantine. It's going on for at least another month, probably longer. No excuse, right? They've got to have something by the end of the coronavirus.
I don't know. Patrick Rothfuss just sits in his bathroom watching his beard grow. That's what he does all day.
well, Stephen, what if how Game of Thrones ending instead of how it ends in the TV show? What if it just ends with a virus coming in and taking everybody out? What if that's how the Night King dies? Is a virus from coming into contact with people beyond the wall?
You think a magical creature is susceptible to viruses, Josh?
Would that be an even lamer ending than getting stabbed randomly?
That would be lamer. Yes, that would be lamer.
So it is possible to come up with a lamer ending.
Okay, don't read any stories that Josh writes.
So going back to Thorn of Emberlane, I'm on Goodreads, and there's actually there's a little summary here, not summary, but a little blurb here for Thorn of Emberlane.
There's something weird about this book because it's been marketed as coming out soon for like the past 5 years. Amazon has had a release date of like 2017. They might not anymore, but I remember when I was first reading the series, I thought that it was coming out really soon, but I don't know what the deal is marketing this book.
I don't know. I'm excited. I might even do a reread of the first 3.
I for sure am planning on, once we have a release date, I'll start doing a reread.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I think I didn't appreciate the first book because it took me a while with all the kind of flashbacks, and I didn't really get into the story until kind of the last maybe quarter of the book, the first book. And so I think I would appreciate more in a reread now that I love the characters.
And to be clear, these are the Lies of Locke Lamora books, the Gentleman Bastards sequence. Thus far, 3 have been written, and I think most of Fantology has read these ones. We are united in our fandom of Gentleman Bastards, right?
I think so. It's kind of one of the few series that we've all read.
Yeah, so any other news to take us out, Stephen?
Oh, one quick trivia thing for me. A little big brain moment that I just want to see how you guys do here. So, read my mind. When I say an author is announcing 2 books in one announcement, if I'm not talking about the Jim Butcher announcement, what author and what books am I referring to in the past 5 to 10 years?
Mistborn Era 2, Brandon Sanderson. I
Bingo.
forget exactly which ones. It's Alloy of Law and Bands of Mourning, or
Incorrect. You're doing so well, Ryan. Josh?
Oh, crap.
just cut out that part where I messed up.
Well, I don't want to cheat. Let's see. I can't even remember the second book's name in that trilogy.
I'll give you a hint. It's my least favorite book that Brandon Sanderson has ever written.
That doesn't help me at all.
It's books 2 and 3 of Mistborn Era 2.
Yeah, so what's the second one called?
It's called Shadows of Self.
Okay, yeah.
Sounds like a song by Nickelback.
It wasn't good. The song probably wasn't good. And the book wasn't that great. Although I did think Bands of Mourning was a lot better, so I'm glad he released them both at once because he immediately redeemed himself with the third.
Yeah, I remember being in love with Bands. I thought Bands of Mourning was great. I don't have it nearly as much hatred as you guys do for Era 2 of Mistborn. I shouldn't say hatred, but I like them. I think they're fun.
They're okay. I'm just not a big steampunk fan.
Yeah. And actually, going back to Rebecca Kwong, she also announced that she was working on another book, that she had started writing another book. And I'm a little unclear if that's still in the same series or if she's starting a new series or what the deal is. But she also announced kind of in the same week the progress of 2 books.
Yeah, so she's always said Poppy War is going to be a trilogy, but then she said on to book 4. Does this mean that it's actually not a trilogy and it's 4 books? Or are we going to get a book 4, like a new trilogy? Who knows? But she's writing. Awesome. Okay, so if that's it from you guys, those are my notes for happenings in the latter half of February and the month of March. Fortunately, I don't know if we have a whole lot to look forward to in April, fantasy news-wise, or really much to look forward to at all. It's looking like a pretty bleak month, guys. So, try to make the best of it. Silver lining, you have more time to read. Stay healthy, stay smart.
Yeah. Listen to our podcast, I think podcasts in general have kind of taken a hit along with everything else because people aren't going on their commutes widely anymore. So still carve out time to listen to your favorite shows.
Hey, Fantology numbers are still trending strong.
Yeah, that's true. But I've noticed that I've missed a lot of episodes of podcasts I follow, and I've had to make an effort to go back and listen to them now that I'm not, I have my Google routine set up so that I like navigate to work and it starts playing the podcast that I listen to on my way to work and home from work. And so I'm just not launching that routine anymore because I'm teleworking now. So.
All right. Well, not everyone has a robot that controls their life, Josh.
Hey, okay, fair enough. I'll take that.
But yeah, wise words. Continue to support podcasts, support your local businesses, and stay smart, stay healthy. On that note, also check us out on social media at Fantology Books. Check out our Patreon and join us on Discord if you want to chat about any of these announcements that we've covered. All right. Thanks, guys. And until next time, this has been another great episode of Fantology. See you later.
See ya.
Hasta luego. I don't know why I just said that.
Do you want to say something cooler?
Until next time, Fantology fans.
Awesome. I'm for sure going to use that.
Great.
I'm going to use that soundbite every time, Ryan.